What's up, guys? So you may see that I'm in a different location. I had to quarantine myself because I am negative, but my father-in-law has it, my wife has it, my daughter has it, my mother-in-law, she's testing to see if she has it. They are well, and because I was the only one that didn't have it, and I had luckily another place to go. So I am alone by myself this week, literally a house to myself until they test negative. And I thought, well, Mythic Monday, what can we do? What better thing to do than talk about the god of healing himself, Asclepius. So, again, we are going to read a myth and some mythology from this book, Epic Tales, Greek Myths and Tales. A really cool book. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying this. And this week we are going to read the myth of Asclepius. And if you do not know who that is by chance, Asclepius is the god of the healing arts. Basically, I consider him to be the god of doctors, basically. So Asclepius is the son of Apollo and the nymph Coronis. He was educated by the noble centaur Chiron in mythology, who instructed him in all knowledge, but more especially in the properties of herbs, the healing herbs. Asclepius searched out the hidden powers of plants and discovered cures for various diseases which afflicted the human body. He brought his art to such perfection that he not only succeeded in warding off death, but also restored the dead to life. It was popularly believed that he was materially assisted in his wonderful cures by the blood of the Medusa given to him by Pallas Athena. So, and now we're going to talk about his temples, which I will go into the modern interpretation in a second. But it says, it's well observed that there were shrines to this divinity, which were usually built in healthy places on the hills outside the town, or near wells where it was believed to have healing properties, offered at the same times means of a cure for the sick and suffering, thus combining religious and with sanitary influences. It was the custom for the sufferer to sleep in the temple, and when, if he had been earnest in his devotions, Asclepius appeared to him in a dream and revealed the means to be employed for a cure of the malady. And on the walls of the temples of Asclepius, there were tablets that were hung, inscribed by different pilgrims with their particular maladies, and the remedies practiced, and the cures worked by the god, a custom undoubtedly productive of most beneficial results. So the temples of Asclepius were basically the doctors' offices and hospitals of their day. So Asclepius, again, is the god of doctors. And with that said, the doctors swear to this day the Hippocratic Oath, in which was the oath by Hippocrates, or Hippocrates as most people would say now. And in the original Hippocratic Oath, it would be, I swear by and to Apollo Asclepius. You should read it, but it starts a prayer, and I swear by the gods of healing that I will do this and that to heal the patient. But Apollo and Asclepius were mentioned in the original Hippocratic Oath. So it says, continues and says that groves, temples, and altars were dedicated to Asclepius in many parts of Greece, but Epidaurus, the chief of his worship, the chief seat of his worship, where indeed it is said to have originated, contained his principal temple, which served at the same time as a hospital. Again, he is over hospitals. So the statue of Asclepius in the temple was formed of ivory and gold and represented him as an old man with a full beard, leaning on a staff around which a serpent is climbing. The serpent was a distinguished symbol of this divinity, partly because these reptiles were greatly used by the ancients in cures of diseases, and partly also because of the prudence and wisdom of the serpent were deemed indispensable to the judicious physician. So you'll see at hospitals to this day, the rod with the snake around it. That is the rod of Asclepius. That is the symbol that represents medicine, but indirectly the god. So his blessing is on hospitals of this day. And to me, that tells me that's a sign that he is still around and he is still healing and helping doctors to heal the sick. That's why I pray so much for Asclepius when it comes to doctors, because he is the spirit and the influence to help good doctors heal the sick. There's a difference between good doctors and bad. So his usual attributes are the staff, bull, herbs, a dog, the pineapple, and a serpent. I'm going to have to research about the pineapple. That's interesting. I'm sure there's a myth connecting to it. His children in mythology, for the most part, distinguished talents of their father. So they inherited the talents. The two children, Machaon and Podalirius, accompanied Agamemnon to the Trojan War, in which they became renowned, not only as military heroes, but also as skillful physicians. Their sisters, Hygeia and Panacea, where we get the words hygiene and penicillin from, had temples dedicated to them and received divine honors. The functions of Hygeia was to maintain the health of the community, which great blessing was supposed to be brought by her as a direct and beneficent gift from the gods. And it said in the Orphic hymn to Hygeia that she is the enemy of death. I love that prayer. And so that's it for Asclepius. It didn't really go much into his mythology other than to say that he was the great physician. So the myth changes, and there are different variations because, again, it's all symbology. So people change it a little bit to get a different message. But in mythology, he was killed by Zeus for bringing someone back to life, but was later, again, resurrected as a god. And that's how he became the god that we know in mythology. So there you go. That is Asclepius. So with that said, his modern temples, in my eyes today, are the hospitals. And you can just feel the presence, and you can feel the spirit of Asclepius in doctors who have a huge heart, because Asclepius had a huge heart for people. He cares about people and wants to see them well, and helps. And his spirit is in the doctors that want your family members and yourself to be healed and better. So you thank Asclepius for the doctors we have in our lives that take care of us, and the invention of modern medicines that keep us healthy. Never use prayer only. If you go to Asclepius's doctors, the doctors and the ones you trust, and definitely go get checked out if you think you're sick or your family members are sick. The gods have blessed us with medicine for that reason, and Asclepius will tell you to do the same thing.